Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And I have to tell you, I am super excited about who I have on the show this morning. I have Lindsey Graham, also known as the Patriot Barbie, and you're going to find out how she got that nickname. I love that nick. In fact, I get confused sometimes and I want to call her Barbie. It's crazy. But you stay with us and do me a favor, stop everything you're doing and share this out to everybody on planet Earth because you want in this woman's energy field and you definitely want to hear her story. So share this out. Thank you. And we'll see you here in just a minute with Lindsey Graham, the Patriot Barbie. Here we are. Let me bring Lindsey on. Lindsey, welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
So excited to have you here.
Thank
My
you.
gosh.
Yeah,
I gotta say, let me start if I may. I have to say, I saw one of your posts about a couple of morons that I don't know how else to put it. There are other words I could use, but we better keep it clean.
We don't want to get censored on YouTube.
Well, these guys are, it seems like they're just, anyway, I saw how terribly they treated you and several other women on this podcast that has millions of followers. And I still don't get that.
Yeah.
Outside, just there's evil moving throughout this world that can't be explained. But so I reached out to you and I said, hey, I'll be nice to you if you'll come on my show. So
I don't appreciate it.
I don't treat people like that. That's terrible. So
you're not going to tell me to shut up at any point.
No. My wife would come in here and smack me. Like, that's just not right.
Thank you.
So Lindsey, I started this show about 5.5 years ago. And it was really to have a breakthrough in my own life. I thought if I listen to enough other people, it'll help me. And it has, and I've, built a platform to help people get their message out. But talk about, if you would, just for people that don't know, kind of start with where you were born and raised. Where did it all begin for you?
I was born in Fontana, California, lived there until about the 6th grade. And then we moved to Salem, like the Salem, Oregon area. Yeah. And so I pretty much would consider myself would have considered myself an Oregonian, was raised, most of my childhood memories are in Oregon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oregon is beautiful. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm not sure I could live there now.
No. And the beautiful parts that you're thinking are like the greenery and the scenery and the landscape, but the culture and society of Oregon now is not very beautiful anymore. So.
No, it's completely upside down, as are many things in our beautiful country. I want to play a little clip. It's about 35 seconds long.
Okay.
That is, from what I've heard you say, it was one of the most special moments of your life. And I want everybody to see this because it's really awesome. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I think it was recently.
So here, everybody check this out and we'll be right back. This is awesome.
Yeah. So good luck, everybody. I like that ribbon that you're wearing.
Come on over, say hi to her. Come on over.
Yes,
Mega Barbie. Mega Barbie. She's amazing. President Trump.
Good artist working here.
So good. Oh, I just like I can't even believe that actually happened. It's like I'm watching it happened to someone else.
It's
Oh,
so awesome.
yeah,
So
that's
you
so
were at
good.
Mar-Lago for something. I still don't know what you were there for, but it was some kind of an event or something.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to tell the story because this is how God works, right? I have had multiple opportunities to meet President Trump. And when I say meet, it's more like go up and do the quick picture and the handshake and walk off, right?
Yeah.
And I actually won a ticket to do that. And I gave it to someone else. I said to myself, when I meet President Trump, it is going to be more meaningful than just a quick handshake and then trying to like, know who I am, please. Like, let me tell you my story. No, security would shuffle me off. And
Right.
I told the Lord, I trust that when I meet him, it's going to be more meaningful than just that. And I went to 3 events in Florida. There was a gala the night before. And then I spoke at Trump International the next morning at his golf course for 300 people. Now, I was told by the woman that runs the event, we've never had an event here where Trump didn't show up. And so I knew in my mind, oh my gosh, today I'm going to meet him. There's a lot of people here though. I'll probably see him. He did not show up. He did not show up to the event. And the next morning I was supposed to be at a breakfast and the breakfast only had 50 people. And all of a sudden over the microphone, they say, everybody sit down right now. And I'm like, oh, he is, because this is at Mar-a-Lago. I'm like, he is coming in. And so there's this small room of just 50 people. And I'm in the farthest seat away from where President Trump walks in, the farthest seat.
Oh
But
my
the
gosh.
people start to make a U shape around him. And I sort of walk up and I get on the exterior of the U shape and I put my phone down because everyone is recording. And I just say, I just want to enjoy this moment. So I'm like a little 80-year-old lady, puts my phone down and just looking at him. And I can see him keep looking over at me. And apparently he's attracted to this red bow that I'm wearing, which you saw is quite large.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history. It was like God fulfilled what I asked, which is that he would call Patriot Barbie up out of the crowd and personally compliment my tattoos and my dress and personally shake my hand and not just, a quick picture. To be called out of the crowd by the president is just like amazing. So that was
I have full body chills right now.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow. That's awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So talk about, I've seen clips. I think you were on Jesse Waters' show. You've been all over the media, especially during the are we allowed to say the lockdowns? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Right. It was ridiculous. But you had a business in Oregon.
Yes.
And you refused to shut down.
Correct. Well, so I did originally shut down, like, everybody in America, or I guess the entire continent world.
Yeah.
But remember that they were saying like, oh, it just 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And we're like, okay, 2 weeks, we can all handle that. Yeah. And then that was a lie. 2 weeks turned into 3 and 4 and 5. So it is hard for me to imagine at this time now, but to hear myself say it is shocking. Nobody was standing up even at 6 weeks. At 6 weeks, I went, okay, you know what? I didn't believe this from the beginning. I was happy to take the 2 weeks because I just had a baby. My baby was 2.5 weeks old. I was like extra maternity leave.
Yeah.
But at 6 weeks, no one was still standing up. And it's not because we were afraid of the vid. People were afraid of the government retaliation and what would happen because it was complete and utter communism. Yep. And at 6 weeks, we owned a 30,000 square foot gym. So I say that because it wasn't a little gym. It was a large gym. I owned a 25 chair salon. It was 5,000 square feet. And we owned 4 tanning salons. All of them were non-essential. And so at 6 weeks, we were about $100,000 in debt from our rents and our overhead and all of this. I was not receiving unemployment, which I didn't want anyway, because I didn't want the government to work for me. So at 6 weeks, we understood if we don't do something, if someone doesn't do something, we are going to go bankrupt. We're going to lose everything we've worked for 15 years.
Yep.
And mind you, we had just built a brand new home in Oregon too. It was supposed to be our forever home. And I had just invested $100,000 into my new salon space. It was like the worst timing for lockdowns, the worst. So if knowing that we were going to lose everything, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go back to work. I'm going to do hair. We won't open the other businesses. I'll do hair. Like, we got to have some kind of income coming in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. I went to reopen. I had posted about it in a Facebook group. I didn't realize that the group was public. So I woke up the next morning. It had been shared like 60,000 times. And the news had been messaging me now. We heard that you're reopening your business. Would you care to comment? And I was like, uh-oh.
Not sure I wanted this attention.
I guess I don't have a choice. So,
wow.
But the truth is, business owners didn't have a voice at that time, right?
Right.
All the employees were getting unemployment, and even business owners, they were gaslighting us and saying, well, we're going to give you PPP loans, right? But those PPP loans, we were being told to pay our leases with or pay our employees with. So you weren't getting to keep it to fund your own life. You had no income coming in, and they were giving you money and telling you to give it to everybody else. And so when they said, do you want to make a comment? I thought, I do want to make a comment. You guys need to understand why I'm doing this. This is not about, oh, I want to kill people, which is what they alleged, or I cared more about money than people's lives. The reality was, no one is talking about how badly business owners are suffering from these lockdowns. And let me be the one to tell you how much we're in debt because of, the government dictating what we can or cannot do.
I didn't take the PPP loan. So, and I'm a business owner, and I good for you. What happened along the way? Because I don't know all the details. I know that you said no, you reopened. Where did things go for you with that? And let's talk about this too. They considered so many ridiculous things essential. Walmart was essential.
Yeah.
Target was essential.
Home Depot. That's
Home Depot.
We want people to be able to renovate their homes while they're stuck at home.
Yeah, right. Like,
oh my gosh.
So it was just ridiculous. But talk about what happened when you reopened. What did they show up? What happened?
Did they show up? You're telling me.
Did they?
Before I even opened, Oregon OSHA showed up at my salon and threatened to fine me $70,000 if I opened. That went public, and someone started a GoFundMe and started raising money. And so at about like the $20,000 mark, I was like, you know what? I am going to reopen. $70,000 is a lot of money for a woman that's already $100,000 in debt. The point is that I can go back to work to make money, not so that I can go back to work and be fined more money. But when the fundraising started, I realized that, people will get behind me for this. So I did open on May 5th of 2020, which is ironically, by the way, I didn't know this at the time, the day I actually opened my salon for the first time ever back in 2009 was my anniversary of my opening date. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So as soon as I opened, I was threatened within 10 days every day by every state agency possible. So I was told by the state of Oregon that they were going to revoke my business license. I was told by the health department they were going to revoke my hair license. I was told by the city of Salem, who was my landlord, that they were going to kick me out of my building. I was told that I would be issued $50,000 a day fines. I would be arrested with a Class C misdemeanor. And when I continued to remain open against all of those threats, they sent Child Protective Services to my house after 2 days of being open, and they threatened to take my kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There is no line that the government will not draw where they will not threaten and intimidate someone into obeying. And that, to me, that was the line had been drawn. The line was clear.
Wow. So all of these threats came down, and did they actually follow through with any of, I mean, I can't imagine being faced with, we're going to take your children.
Right.
And did you stay open at that point? What did you do?
I did stay open.
Good for
I
you.
did. I was very close to caving, very close. Let me tell you. I mean, I pretty much said to my husband, "Man, I think we're done. I think we're done with this fight that I never pick." But an attorney came alongside me. An attorney said, "They don't have rights. They're not allowed in your home. We're going to sue them. This is a breach of all kinds of things." And we had whistleblowers come forward, and he said, "Stay open, and I will have your back." And so I stayed open even through that. And the truth is amazing. The truth is that all of those threats, we're going to take your license, we're going to kick you out of your building, none of them happened because they didn't have a leg to stand on. And I knew it. I knew that nothing like this had ever happened in the history of the world. And yet you're going to tell me that there's somehow laws drawn up already for this and consequences. And the only thing that I suffered was the cancel culture, obviously, but also a $14,000 fine from Oregon OSHA, which to this day, 4 years later, almost 4 years to the day, I refuse to pay. And they're trying to garnish my bank accounts in Arizona for the $14,000 because I refuse to pay it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That
They
is
do not like
absolutely
me reopening.
that is insane.
It is, yeah. It's very sad. But you know,
Wow.
it's sad that we have to worry about this as Americans, free Americans. But the truth is, it's been the greatest journey of my life. I wouldn't take anything back. I have no regrets. God literally created me for this purpose. I had no idea what I was doing when I defied the Oregon government, but I know now, and I knew within a year, God had prepared me for this. He had prepared me my whole life. He had this in my plans, whether I knew it or not. And now 4 years after the fact, I am seeing exactly how faithful he is and exactly what he has planned for me. And I'm so thankful that he allowed it to happen, that he did it to me, right? Who's thankful for losing all of their businesses, having to flee the state and lose their career and 15 years of hard work. Jeez. Because God has done something better, much, much better.
I agree with you, by the way, 1,000%. But in the moment, it sucks. It's scary. It's like, oh scary. My gosh.
Yeah.
So, wow. So you ended up, and I saw a post where you said something like they think they won or something like that, but the truth is they didn't. And I agree with that as well. But you did end up leaving Oregon. It's choking me up a little bit. Like, it's unbelievable what we've had to, you said as a free American, and in my opinion, are we? Right. I mean, yes, we're constitutionally supposed to be, but just being afraid to say the wrong thing on one of these platforms, and it's like insane. My wife made a comment, putting on the armor of God. Mm-hmm. So you ended up going to Arizona. I have a lot of friends in Arizona, by the way. What part are you in? The Phoenix, Scottsdale?
Yeah, I'm in the West Valley, like west of Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah. So talk about that. I mean, you pretty much grew up in Oregon, which is probably one of the most beautiful states in the United States, quite frankly. The greenery, the mountains, it's gorgeous. But so you left, and it's because of all of this.
Yeah. So a lot of the story that people don't know, because this did not make the news, and when you hear it, you'll know why. I had accidentally become like the face of conservatism, right? I was not political before 2020. I mean, I don't remember who I voted for, like, prior to 2016. I know, because I know who I voted for in 2016. We all do. I didn't talk about politics at all. And that's the rule in hairstyling, right? You don't talk politics or religion, which I didn't do either.
Right.
When I reopened, I actually thought to myself, everyone will agree with why I'm opening. Everyone. everyone will know that a mom of 3 who owns 6 businesses clearly has to work. Her businesses have to be open. When I saw the political division, I was shocked. I mean, I was completely turned around. I didn't know that one side would hate me and call me these vicious names, and one side would call me a hero. I mean, that was just the strangest thing for me. Yeah. So I became a conservative icon, I guess is what you could say, accidentally. And when the BLM riots started, Antifa or someone involved in Antifa posted online, when you start burning down buildings, start with Glamour Salon and kick Lindsey Graham's ass. And that was a public post. And I was sitting at home with my babies, my newborn baby. And I went, you're kidding me that I just fought the state of Oregon single-handedly. And now I'm going to fight little white liberals in Oregon from burning my salon down. Oh my God. So I did a call to arms, and on Facebook, same thing. That post sat there for 3 years, and then Facebook deleted it like 2 years ago. I did a call to arms, and 400 people showed up outside my salon.
Oh military, my gosh.
Veterans, biker gangs, patriots. Yeah. Guys showing up with ARs and full military garb. I was like, what have I done this time?
Oh my gosh.
But as you can imagine, I was already controversial for reopening. Now my entire community was calling me a white supremacist, a white nationalist, a racist. I cared more about my business than I did about Black lives. I mean, the way that they twist the narrative is like insane to me, because the narrative, a week before that was, I care more about money than old grandma's lives. So basically I'm this horrific person in the city of Salem. A petition was started to revoke my business license because I was a threat to the community. 80,000 people signed it. I got completely canceled. So for those of you who don't know what canceled means, it is where you voice your opinion and it goes against the mainstream media's opinion or the radical left woke mob's opinion. And they will do everything they can to ruin everything in your life. So whatever job you work at, they want you fired. Whatever church you attend, they want you kicked out of. Whatever platform you have, they want you deplatformed, defunded. They ruined all 6 of my businesses. The gym started receiving membership cancellations because the gym owner, it was mostly my husband's gym. Your wife is a white supremacist. All of my stylists, all of them except for one, 24 stylists packed up their stuff in the middle of the night and left my salon without a word because they couldn't handle the death threats and the you work for a white supremacist and you must be a racist also. I lost everything because of that call to arms and wanting to protect my business. Again, I lost all 6 businesses.
Oh my gosh.
So in the midst of that, there were death threats against my children. There were death threats against me. I was being attacked at every angle on social media. I was getting text messages because my phone number was public because I'm a hairstylist. I was getting text messages, emails, reviews on Google, reviews on Yelp, attacked on social media, attacked on every business, every Instagram. And my mother-in-law wanted to move to Arizona, and my dad already lived in Arizona. And my mother-in-law came to visit, and I had lost a bunch of weight. I had dark circles under my eyes. I was like going through this severe depression because of what was being done to me. And this is all in the media too. This is all global news now.
Wow.
She looked at me and said, maybe you guys should move to Arizona. And I went, yeah, I think so. I called my realtor the next day. This is a house we had just built. I designed every feature of this house. We built it on land. It was supposed to be our forever home. We built it 1 year prior. We had just moved in a year prior. And we listed our home for sale. And we ran for our lives and moved to Arizona.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow. So geez, let me unpack that. I'm not sure how to.
Where to start?
I don't like that's all mind blowing. I had no idea that you lost all your businesses. Did not know that part.
Yep.
So that had to also leave you with debt, I would imagine, like in all of those businesses and all of the I wow.
Yeah.
So when you left there, and you moved to Arizona, I mean, I see people are so nasty online. I call them keyboard warriors. You know, I'm friends with Grant Cardone, and Grant, I've heard Grant go, "You wouldn't say that to my face, you know, I'd punch you right in your face." You know?
Exactly.
So like I think about, like, you know, people are, they say nasty things, and I've seen some of the people that you're talking about, that, you know, that the Antifa people and all of that,
Yep.
they're not very scary.
No.
But in mass, if they show up, it's horrifying. So talk about when you got to Arizona, and by this time, I think it was, you said some liberal woman in Oregon called you the Patriot Barbie or something,
Yep.
kind of a snarky remark, but you're like, "Hey, I like that," and you went with it.
Yep. They were calling me, you know, they were already calling me a right wing extremist and a Trumpster and all of these things. And like I said, I was like, I've never talked about who I voted for, but all right, yeah, I did vote for Trump in 2016. He's a businessman. I think our country needs to have a businessman run our country.
Yeah.
So after they started calling me a Trumpster and a MAGA whatever, I went out and bought my first ever Make America Great Again hat. So I bought it, put it on, took a picture, posted it on Facebook. And mind you, I'd had enough of these people. Like, I'd had enough. They had pushed me to the brink, and I was like, you know what? You're not happy no matter what. They wanted me to donate all my GoFundMe money to Black Lives Matter as an apology for calling white supremacists to guard my salon. They were insane. So when you see how insane they are, you're kind of like, all right, well, you guys don't play fair anyway. So I put the hat on, took a selfie, posted on my Facebook, and someone made a meme, and it said, "I don't always play Patriot Barbie, but when I do, I kill people's grandmas and I steal people's money." And I was like, Patriot Barbie. And now it's literally who I am. But I'm like thinking, well, okay, well, let's look up the definition. So I looked up the definition of Patriot and Barbie, and I was like, all right, you know what? I am Patriot Barbie. And I went and changed all my social media to Patriot Barbie. And all I could think of for weeks was like, I wonder who made that. Because, you know, of course, they're all anonymous, right? I have no idea who it was.
Yeah.
Fake profile and all that. I wonder what, I'm going to guess girl, because girls can be really hateful. Yeah. And Patriot Barbie is totally a name a girl would call another name. I wonder what she's thinking now that all of my social media's changed, and that's not what I was trying to do. You're supposed to be insulted. And I got so much pleasure out of thinking, I like poked back, and she probably didn't stand it. Oh. And the next interview I went on, they said, and you're known as the Patriot Barbie now. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, I am.
That's so awesome.
It's been the biggest blessing, because, you know, I share Lindsey Graham the name with a senator. And when I go do public speaking, which I do a lot, they'll put on the graphic, keynote speaker Lindsey Graham, and people lose their mind. Why is Lindsey Graham the rhino speaking? Well, then they put the Patriot Barbie, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have an alter ego, thanks to this radical woke liberal, I would probably never get speaking events, because no one would come, because they just think I'm the senator. So,
but see, that's the thing, is you took it as, okay, this is a sign from God that this is what you just reframed the whole thing and shot right back at him. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
But Romans 8:28 says, God works all things for good to those who love him.
Yep.
And at this point in my life, I had actually rededicated my life to the Lord. Yeah, you heard me. I lost everything like Job, and then rededicated my life to the Lord. You took everything. All right, God, I give it to you.
Right.
It's like she meant this name for bad, and God's like, oh, no, just wait till you see what I do with Patriot Barbie. Oh, it was awesome.
That is so incredibly cool. What a great story. So when you got to Arizona, and you had this name was now with you, right? Yeah. where did you, because you weren't doing, you weren't doing public speaking and all of that at the
Nope.
time, right? So you
No,
get to Arizona. Where did it launch from there? Because now you're all over the place speaking and doing amazing things.
yeah.
How did that all come about from there?
This journey, for anyone that's been following me for the last 4 years, they are very, very blessed to have followed this journey, because my story right now, as it is, and we'll call meeting Trump as like, a landmark moment, is literally exactly how God works. It is exactly what happens when you truly give your life to the Lord and you trust that He'll be faithful. Because I'm going to reiterate, I was making $250,000 a year doing hair. And we had a gym that was supposed to be our retirement plan and 4 tanning salons. We lost all of it, lost our dream home, moved to Arizona, no careers. My husband or I did not have jobs in Arizona. We did not know what we were going to do. We had just as much money as we could sell our house for in Oregon and pay off the debts that we had been indebted in Oregon. Came to Arizona, bought our home, and literally said, I guess we must trust you, God. We have no idea what you're doing. And I went through a massive identity crisis because I had always been this boss babe in Oregon, was a pillar of the community, always involved in like donating back to the community and the organizations that I believed in. Had a great reputation and was making a lot of money. Now I'm in Arizona. I'm kind of being like a stay-at-home mom, trying to figure out what my next move is. I don't want to go back and do hair. I was at the peak of my career in Oregon. To start back over at the bottom of that ladder seemed just so devastating to me. So I received a very clear message from the Lord through 4 different people in a 12-hour period to write a book. And I was like, okay, weird. I'll write a book. As I wrote the book, I thought I was going to be writing about how I defied government, which I thought would be a very boring book because it was only like a small portion of my life. Right. And as I'm writing it, I'm hearing God tell me to like, well, how are you so strong that you could fight the state of Oregon? Well, I have been this and this and this and this in my life. And they're not pretty. They're not pretty stories. I was very away from God in my 20s. And I was like, my dad's going to read this book. I don't want to write that. And God kept prompting me to write these stories because how could I be so strong? Well, I've been forced to be strong through different situations in my life. So my book ended up being my testimony. But my book also was time for me to literally sit at the computer that you're viewing me on. I sat and typed and I wrote my whole book. I discovered I have been through something so unique and rare. And God would not allow me to go through something like this and lose everything to just go back and do hair again, right? What does he want to use? What does he want to use me for? And so through writing that book, I felt like I don't know what Patriot Barbie is going to do. I don't know what Patriot Barbie is. I just know that the Lord wants me to pursue something in this movement, in the conservative movement, and to be a voice. And since I was able to stand up against the cancel culture and BLM and Antifa and lockdowns and stand for truth, because I lost everything, now I'm not afraid to stand for truth because what are they going to do? They can't take anything from me anymore. So it was like this beautiful blessing that everyone's afraid of speaking up because they're afraid of what they're going to lose. And I'm like, oh, I've already lost it, so I'm good. So I said, all right, I'm going to use my voice. And I kept getting different prophecies through different people. Use your voice. God wants you to use your voice. And so that's what I've been doing for 4 years. And I have no idea where it's leading. I still don't know if there's a different end game than I even anticipate. I just know that every day I wake up and I'm like, all right, Lord, use me however you're going to use me for your glory. And it is on speaking on stages like Trump International and my book being in the hands of people like General Flynn and just opportunity after opportunity to be involved in, especially the parallel economy, like Christian businesses and conservative businesses. We need to be supporting each other. That's where I'm at now. And again, I'm excited because I live my life in a way that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, just like allowing the blessings and allowing the opportunities. And God is way more faithful than he's ever been in my life. And my life now is way more purposeful and meaningful than doing hair behind the chair, where I was not ministering to women. I was not preaching the gospel. I was not speaking the truth. And I would never, ever go back to that life, even with the financial security and the reputation and the boss. I would never go back, because I know that what God's doing is going to be so much more fruitful and purposeful doing what I'm doing now.
And I know that you have, and I want to pop your book up on screen. It's going to look weird. You and I will be to the left and right of it, but here's the book, Targeted: One Mom's Fight for Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness. Amazing that you wrote that book. So everybody go, I'm going to put your link up, which is just, it's shop.patriotbarbie.com.
Yes,
Shop. I'm going to put it in a banner. Is that the where you want people to go to get that? I'm assuming.
Perfect. Yes.
So talk about, and I'm going to try to keep talking while I put this in here for you. But so talk there, I got it. So, and if my wife or all of you would type that into the comments and put the www in front of it, that will make it clickable on any of the platforms, except Instagram, because they're stuck in the Stone Ages.
Right.
But so if you would put that in the comments, please, and that way anybody can click on it. But talk about, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You realize right now that this is like the Barbie and Ken show, right?
That is so awesome.
How's it feel to be the Ken right now?
I know. I have a 13-year-old daughter. Her friends are all of her little friends are always singing that stupid
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, stop. And I have to tell people, like, they're like, did you say your name? Like, if they ask for my name, I'm like, it's Ken. And they're like, did you say Tim? I'm like, no, how does that sound like Tim? It's Ken, like Ken and Barbie.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
And this is real.
Yeah. So, but talk about, I know that you're doing a lot of things for the conservative movement with credit card processing and all, like, you have and I really want you to talk about, look, people are laughing. And I'm going to introduce you, by the way, to somebody that's in Scottsdale, one of my dear friends, and I'm a referral partner with him. They're really good friends. It's Mark Victor Hansen. He's the #1 best-selling author in the world with Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Wow. Oh, yeah. He's in Scottsdale.
He's in Scottsdale. He's a dear friend of mine. I'm going to introduce you and Mark and his wife, Crystal. They're amazing people, and they'll want to know you too. So, but so, look, my wife saying the Ken and Barbie show.
I feel like if someone really wanted to have a little bit of fun, they could superimpose your face on like the Ken doll and then my face on it. And that could be the thumbnail for this show. We'll clickbait people into listening.
Hey, I would not mind having the body that Ken has. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm down with it. Whoever wants to do that. So, so talk about some of the stuff that you're doing in the business world. I know you have, do you have to go?
No, my Roomba just turned on and she's going to be real loud. And as much as I appreciate her cleaning my house, now is not the time.
That is so funny.
Oh,
so talk about, I know you have and correct me if I'm getting it wrong, but you have a clothing line, the Pretty Little Patriot clothing line. Is that correct?
Yep. It's a women's fashion brand. Yep. With
you and Kendall in Kentucky, right?
Yes.
She's adorable. I love watching you guys together.
Yeah. She's my best friend too.
Yeah. I love that. So talk about some of the stuff that you're doing now.
Yeah. So, this is like my moment to kind of really reiterate how God has worked for 4 years and transitioned me into doing business again, but with a very different purpose. I took a break from business for 2 years. I was like kind of terrified of being canceled again. It's why I didn't want to open another gym or open another salon or any of those things.
Yeah.
And I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I always have. I got it from my mom. And to be away from entrepreneurship for those 2 years, that's kind of what contributed to my identity crisis as well. And I'm just now able to get back into enjoying that because I'm enjoying it in the parallel economy. So I don't have any brick and mortar stores, but what I have is an online presence and an online, partnership with all of these other conservative, Christian companies. So our Pretty Little Patriot it's a fashion brand, but as you know, like men are often modeling fashion brands now. And
Right.
we boldly stand on, we are Christian, we are pro-freedom, we are pro-life. We believe that God created two genders. Try to cancel us. You can't, because the women that we're appealing to believe in the same thing that we believe.
Amen.
And then I have a merch store that is all Jesus and political, a lot of Trump gear. And so that's fun. And I get to do that without fear of being canceled as well. I am a partner and an owner in a new network that's launching this year that I can't say any more about other than that.
Network, like a television network kind of thing?
Yes, like a streaming network. Yeah. And that's
Wow.
going to be, it's going to be huge when we are allowed to talk about it. It's going to be huge. So
wow.
That's really exciting.
Then you have to come back on and talk about it when
Yes.
when
Yeah, we will, when I can start dropping truth bombs.
yeah.
And then I've partnered with like a payment processing company, Patriot Ventures. So, like Kyle Rittenhouse got deplatformed and he couldn't sell his book on Stripe. They froze all his funds. And that's happening more often than people are aware because it's not national news. It's a lot of these smaller companies that it's happening to, and they don't have a platform to speak out about it. So payment processing is, if you're a business and you accept credit cards, you need to be accepting them with a processing or a merchant company that won't deplatform you based on, oh, you sold a Trump shirt, or, oh, you spoke up against the vaccine, or whatever it is. I shouldn't have said the word vaccine even. Sorry, you're going to get.
I think they caught on to the jab. So
yeah, they know what we're saying. We got to come up with another code word.
right.
But yeah, I refer people, to them, and I'm assisting in building the parallel economy, which is that it's not just business now. I learned through my salon and my gym that I didn't speak out about my beliefs, and I ultimately got canceled. Well, these businesses that I'm building, my beliefs are at the forefront of everything I'm doing. So there is no, oh, you're going to lose sponsors, or, oh, you're going to lose partnerships. It's like, no, this is what I believe in. And if you've come alongside me, you know exactly what I'm going to say when I get on a podcast and what I believe in. Yeah. And I think that if more people did that, you'd be less afraid of what you're going to lose by speaking the truth, because the truth is already out there. And I want to reiterate to people that, remember, I did speak the truth and I lost everything. And guess what? God had something better. So all of those things that you're afraid of losing because of speaking the truth, you don't believe that if you speak the truth, that God is going to bless you 7 times over for being strong enough to do that. It's incredible. No one should be afraid. My story should be that no one should be afraid of speaking the truth, because look what happens when you do.
I mean, the word of God promises us that when the enemy steals from us, we are promised a 7-fold return on what was stolen from us. And it appears that that's happening for you. Yeah. It's amazing.
And the more I speak up about that, and the more I make that my message, the larger the platform God gives me. And the larger the platform, the more I'm showcasing his glory, like his faithfulness. I mean, it's like a non-vicious cycle of my Instagram blowing up for absolutely no reason at all. But it started doing that when I started using my platform more to preach the gospel and to talk about God's goodness. And then he blessed me, because if I'm doing that and I'm giving him all the glory, he's going to give me a bigger stage to spread the glory. So it's like, wow, God's light and his faithfulness is just shining through my life. And if you're watching me on Instagram or YouTube or wherever on stages, that is the message that I want to take away, is that if you continue to speak truth and stay true to yourself and honor him in doing it, there is nowhere he will not bless you in your life.
Amen. Amen and amen. You
Thank
know,
you.
and to show to show your heart, like I saw, I think it was last week. It was last week. You put out a story because I'm obsessed with watching your stories, and I'm like, I have notification. There's only a couple people that I get notified when they post a new story, and you're one of, because it
Oh, thank
drives me crazy. I get a million notifications a day, but I love it when you're posting. But you posted something about you and your husband were going out for dinner for date night,
you.
and that God put on your heart to really tip a server. And so you put that out, and I was like, oh my gosh, did I miss an opportunity? So I'm like texting you, did you already do it? And I'm like, and so I see there's like 10 more stories, and I'm like, okay, I'm going through the stories really fast. Did she do it? And I'm like, oh good. So I donated, and I know a lot of other people did, and you were able to tip that server. Was it $2,300 or 22?
Yep. $2,300. Yep. Plus whatever my tip was. I added it up and then I just shoved the receipt to her. But yeah, that was amazing. And there were so many things. I looked at my husband and was like, well, we have to really pray about where we're going to dinner tonight now, because I don't want to bless the wrong person. And there were all these things that added up to us going to the restaurant that we went to, getting the server that we got. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw the story update, but sometimes you do things. I've seen things like this done before. And the woman is like, oh my gosh, you don't even know, but I just found out I'm pregnant and I'm losing my lease. And who knows, how dramatic their story is going to be. Well, her story wasn't that dramatic, but she did say this: I've been going to church again for the last 6 weeks, she said. And I've been praying for God to show me that he's real. I've been praying for God to bless me in a way that I would see him work in my life. And the night before, she works double shifts at this Olive Garden. So she works the morning and the evening just to make ends meet, because she's going to nursing school. The night before was her parents' anniversary. And she said, I'm going to take my shift off and take you guys out for your anniversary. And then when she did it, she started getting kind of anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I took a whole shift off. I could be making a lot of money. Her mom, who is a believer, said, don't worry, God will bless you 7 times over for your generosity towards us. And the next night is when I showed up and gave her that $2,300 tip. And she said, it was like the moment she realized my mom was right. God came through for me. And so it may not have, she may not have been pregnant and losing her apartment, but it solidified someone's faith in Jesus. And like, that's a bigger message than anything.
And I think the most important part of the entire situation is you prayed with her. Mm-hmm. You prayed with her before you left that restaurant. Yeah. And that is so flipping awesome. Like, that's just, again, there are people who show up to church once a week and then live their life a different way outside of that. And I'm not judging. Well, maybe I am. But you're literally living what Christ taught us to do. Like, you're doing that. And I think that's amazing. So, and I know you have a heart out here in just a few minutes. So I want to open it up for you. Is there anything that you would like to share that you haven't shared with everybody watching before we wrap this up?
I would just say, to reiterate the same recurring message and drive it in people's brains, that speaking for truth will never be wrong. Being able to be strong enough when you feel like you are the minority in a room or in a group or on a show, that you would stay true to what you actually believe and not be afraid to speak for that. Because a lot of the times we think we're the only person that believes that, because everyone around you is believing the same thing, but feeling the same fear that you are. If I speak up, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be canceled. I'm going to be chastised. And that is usually not the truth. I was in a grocery store the other day, and some lady was wearing a Let's Go Brandon shirt. And I yelled across the store about as loud as I could, I love your shirt. And she and then like someone else goes, me too. Someone else goes, me too. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be a Let's Go Brandon shirt. But the minute you are bold enough to be true in your beliefs and speak out about them, other people will see that, and it will be contagious, and they will come alongside you. And so we know that there's more of us than there are of them. If we all spoke our truth boldly without fear, we would be living in a very different America right now. So shop your values, support the people that are in this parallel economy, that are in this fight, and don't be afraid to speak up.
Amen. Amen and amen. I don't know that anybody could have put it any better. So look, Lindsey, I want to call you Barbie. Lindsey, I really do. I just can't. It's so hard. Because everything is Patriot Barbie.
I know,
Like,
I know. I'll be in stores and I'll hear Barbie, and I'm like, I'm not blonde, but I feel like that's for me. I'll turn around and it's a follower.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming on today. And if there's anything that I can ever do to help you, I'm here. I love what you're doing and what you believe in and stand for. So everybody watching, make sure you're following Lindsey on all social media platforms, especially Instagram, where she has 278,000 followers, and you're just doing beautiful things. So thank you so much. And if you'll hang on, not click away yet, I'm going to end the show or the live stream. But if you can hang on just a quick second. So thank you to everyone, and make sure you're following Lindsey everywhere. Go to shoppatriotbarbie.com. That link will be in the show notes on the podcast platform. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Lindsey. I appreciate you.
Ken.
All right. Bye-bye.